Hello and welcome to the Wu Wei Wisdom Tao Dialogues. Drawing from my practice as a Taoist monk and teacher, we can explore the Wu Wei balance and harmony in all areas of life. In this week's episode of the Tao Dialogues, we will explore the profound strength hidden within vulnerability. And I know that word may strike horror at the core of many of you. So let's relax and enjoy this deeper dive into the heart of Taoist and Wu Wei wisdom teaching, where we can discover how embracing vulnerability, openness, and authenticity allows us to move with the effortless flow of Wu Wei. And all of these teachings are based on my practice as a Taoist teacher and monk, and definitely inspired by my years of working with my beautiful clients. So let us journey together into the delicate balance between strength and softness. Have you ever wondered why we shield ourselves from vulnerability? Maybe we mistake openness for weakness. Have we convinced ourselves that our need for protective armour keeps us safe, when in truth, it imprisons us? Is it possible that we try so hard to avoid discomfort, we actually shut ourselves down from a genuine connection and growth? And of course, I would say a spiritual connection and your authentic growth. So in this Tao Dialogues episode, we will explore the answers to these questions. When we try and travel through life encased in an invisible armour, believing that if we protect ourselves, we can avoid emotional pain, judgment, and rejection. But if we ever questioned, what are we really protecting ourselves from? Because people still criticize, still compare us, and definitely judgmental, that we call CCJ. It doesn't work. It's never worked. It can't work. Because it's the way of life. It is the reality that we live in. The Tao teaches us that life is about living naturally, in our flow, in Wu Wei. It's not about resistance, but it's about understanding and accepting. Our inner child, that part of our mind, has been shaped by our past experiences, by situations it didn't understand, by unfairness and injustice. And so, it built walls. It believes that it can keep itself safe. Yet as we evolve, have you noticed how these walls have become barriers? Walls, prisons, and they prevent us from experiencing our true life's richness. So step back and think. We're all vulnerable. No one is perfect. We all have so-called flaws because we're human. What would it be like for you to see vulnerability not as a flaw, but as a gateway to a deeper connection, a gateway to self-trust, about trusting yourself, not doubting, about your authentic strength that's always seen you through. You've always coped. You always will cope. You are resilient. That is your nature. You can be vulnerable and resilient. It's part of what we are as a human being. When we resist this idea of vulnerability, we reject the full spectrum of who we are. We put ourselves on a pedestal. We want to be better, special. It's like a river that refuses to flow. What happens then? stagnation sets in. And this is what happens to us, because true power is not in being rigid, is not thinking you can be future-proofed or controlled. It's actually the opposite. It's the ability to bend, to be flexible, to adapt, like a surfer on a wave, using all your skills, using your innate spirituality that makes you unique, trusting in yourself. When have you ever not coped? And so if we continue to hold on to these inner child old beliefs about being weak, about being a victim, what we're actually doing is isolating our true selves, our spiritual selves. We're actually restricting ourselves from love, from that feeling, that wonderful feeling of love and growth that we've always been seeking, but it's ours. It's yours. It's not going to come externally from someone else. It comes from you. Could you imagine a tree in the middle of a great storm, a tornado, and watch how its branches bend and allows the wind to go through it? It's only those old, unyielding branches that break away. The soft new ones bend and flow. So what if instead of fearing being exposed of what other people think, what other people say, we saw vulnerability as just a part of everyone, and being humble and accepting it as part of us is actually an act of courage. Then whatever anyone said, we just shrug our shoulders. We embrace what others think of imperfections, and we see them as opportunities to learn and to grow. We see them as understanding more about our authenticity. And I'd like to remind you as well, what other people think of you is none of your business. And there's a wonderful Taoist teaching. To be whole, first allow yourself to be broken. Because each crack, each break can be a passageway for new light to enter, for new insights, for you to see your true worth, that you can't be broken. And people will always judge you, either to your face or behind your back. And when you really look at what you think are emotional wounds, you see that they're just misunderstandings, that your inner child wants resolving, and it gives you a chance, a willingness to honor them. So vulnerability allows you to hold your child closely, and you can do that now. Picture yourself when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, and bring them into your heart. They're not weak. They're learning. They're human. And we only learn by making mistakes. And so together, you can explore the idea of vulnerability as the seeds pushing through. And you can begin to recognize that those emotions the inner child has been creating, as shouting for your help and attention, have been misread, and they've imprisoned you, whatever you've called them: shame, fear, self-doubt, anger. This is a child screaming for your attention, saying it must be protected, it must be safe. But safe from what? Safe from an emotion that you create, This is like a dog chasing its tail. But if you see these emotions as a voice of your inner child, you can do what I call the golden thread process, the self-inquiry, starting from a red light. You can trace it back. Ask why. Why am I creating this red light? What is the belief that fuels this red light? What do I really believe? Because you'll find it's almost as though you're reverse engineering. You'll find a belief, maybe about you shouldn't be seen. Maybe it's about thinking what other people are going to say, rejection or inadequacy. And these are the beliefs that part of your mind that I call the inner child has been holding on to. And even though you try and cover them up, these beliefs are just not true. And this is what causes the pain. This is where we need to focus. And if you reject what I'm saying, would that inner belief stand up to the Shen test? Shen test is very simple. Would you say this to a physical child? Would you say to a physical child that they're inadequate, that they can't cope, that they're unlovable, that they're not enough? And you'll smile and you'll say, of course I wouldn't. That's ridiculous. It's like child cruelty. But then why would you say it to yourself? And this is where you have to make the move. This is where you have to change your perception. And you have to see these ideas that you've run away from, such as vulnerability. You're running away from your own truth. You're running away from your own spirit. And though you may cling to the illusion of being in control or being future-proofed, it's never worked. You can't control reality. You can adapt. And being yourself, you can flow with it. But it's very difficult to be flexible with that suit of armour weighing you down. How can you flow? How can you be open? So instead of vulnerability, being helpless, it's the opposite. It's surrendering to the truth. So ask yourself, would you rather be truthful or a little bit uncomfortable? These are very important questions. What would you say to your physical child? And you know, I'm always going to come back to water. The analogy of water is very important for a Taoist, because like water, with small steps, persistence, we can carve through the hardest of rock. Strength does not come from resistance, but with flow and alignment with nature. And again, there's a wonderful Taoist teaching. What we resist persists. Yet what we embrace transforms. So to embrace vulnerability, we have to practice small, intentional steps. First of all, notice and name your emotion. Instead of calling it shame, fear, anxiety, call it a red light, just like a red light you would have on the dashboard of your car. So the next time you see or you feel a red light, don't hide, don't run away. You wouldn't do that in your car. Instead, you can do this now with me. Pause, take a breath, drop your shoulders, and speak to your inner child. Can you picture that child? This is the child screaming out to you, wanting your attention, reassurance, love. And you can ask it, sweetheart, little one, what's the belief behind this? Awareness is the first step towards any transformation. You can't change what you don't understand and accept. Number 2, challenge this idea of being judged, being mocked, being shown up, whatever you want to call it. What others perceive of you, because it's only their view. Through their world, through their filters. Why are you giving them authority over your life? Their views, their words, do not define you, cannot define you. Because if I gather together 10 people that you know, family, friends, colleagues, each one of them would have a different opinion of you. Which one is true? Which one really defines who you are? And the answer, of course, is none of them. Because true freedom is when we define ourselves. And we go through the discomfort of believing that validation that we give to ourselves. Validation is not a commodity that somebody else has and we have to beg for it. Somebody is not higher on the validation scale than you. These are ideas of a child. These are not mature spiritual truths. Number 3, practice your authenticity daily. Speak honestly to yourself. In my words, stop lying. Even when sometimes it feels uncomfortable, try it for yourself just for one day. Be truthful. Even for an hour, be truthful to yourself. What you would say to yourself in your self-talk, would you say to your physical child? And I can tell you what some of my clients would say. David, I haven't got time for this. This is going to take up too much of my life. But I've got time to worry. I've got time to be anxious. I've got time to fret. I've got time to try and manipulate other people. But I haven't got time to look after myself. Perhaps this is your time. Your time to step into your truth. Your time to define who you are. To live authentically. To create space for yourself. To follow your path. Number 4 is to practice self-compassion. To love yourself. To treat yourself with kindness and understanding. This is not the job for other people to do this. You can't hand this over to someone else. Say, I can't be bothered to love myself, to care for myself, but you have to. And if you recognize the inner child, this is your job. In our model, we call it reparenting. This is your job to be the parent that your inner child has craved, cried out for, always wanted. And you can do it now. I would say it's your birthright, because if you do not do it, nobody else can. Even a partner who loves you cannot be your parent, cannot heal your inner child's issues, unfairnesses, and injustices. This is down to you. It's down to you to make your inner child safe, to be open. It's down to you to show your inner child that you love them, just as they are, even with their vulnerabilities. And you see, you can laugh. They've got no vulnerabilities. They're just learning. Number 5, lean into the discomfort. Get used to this new way, because doing something different will always feel uncomfortable. The only reason why you stick to the old ways is because it's familiar. Even though it doesn't work, and you know it doesn't work, it is familiar. And in a way, strangely comfortable. But I think that's good, because with a little bit of practice, in a short few weeks or a month, this new way will also become familiar, and you'll look back and you'll laugh at the old patterns. And you'll wonder why you spend so much of your life resisting, looking outside of yourself, when everything you need has always been inside. And you'll deepen the practice. You'll see no weaknesses, but spiritual doorways to deeper understanding. And you allow yourself to be seen for who you are. Stand tall. And in doing that, the greatest gift, you permit others to do the same. Your children, your family members, your relationships deepen, creativity flourishes, and life flows. This is Wu Wei. No effort, you just go with it. This is the life you should be living, without restriction. This is revealing who you are, warts and all. And you laugh when other people make fun of you. Why would you give them authority? Are they perfect? Have they no warts? And so letting down your shields actually means you become more discerning. Your boundaries are much easier, because if somebody does step over the line, you can act authentically. From deep inside of you, you have that resilience we spoke about earlier. Again, the Taoists say, the soft overcomes the hard. Not by force, but by presence. Because when you're yourself, you'll carry that energy. The people trust you. The people listen to what you say. Strength is not found in hiding and running away. Strength is found by standing tall, from being flexible to being seen. So this journey is not about wiping away fears. This journey is about understanding why you would create fear. It's about holding your spirit and your heart gently. It's about recognizing your innate worth and recognizing it's unshakable. Your Shen is like a diamond, untarnished. And so this vulnerability, this openness, is an act of trust. It's an act of trust not in others, but in yourself. It is quiet. It's powerful. You don't have to tell anybody else you're doing it, because you will make mistakes. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But we're learning. We're building a foundation based on truth, honesty, and integrity. And we can walk this path together. We can choose openness over fear, authenticity over an illusion, freedom over limitations. So the next time you hesitate, want to hide away, pull back, take that breath. This is a doorway. You may not be ready this time, but if you notice, very soon you will be ready, because you are already whole. You are already worthy, and you should be seen. Your full power should be seen. Do not disguise your greatest strength, your spirituality, your Shen. So thank you for sharing this Tao Dialogue journey with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's given you lots to think about. I look forward to seeing you again on the next exciting edition. But please, in the meantime, remember to subscribe and to support our work through YouTube or your favorite podcast or our new Substack weekly journal posts. Keep in touch. Please write. We'll always try and answer. So until we meet again, Yi Dao, Qi Dao.